Incredible millionaire reveals life-changing secret. After unexpectedly coming home early, you won't believe what happens next. Jake Thompson, a self-made millionaire, felt the thrill of success coursing through him as he strode through the front door of his Maplewood home. He hadn't expected to be back from his high-stakes business trip so soon, and the thought of surprising his wife, Sarah, and their teenage daughter, Emma, filled him with joy. But his excitement was short-lived. As he stepped into the warm living room, he overheard whispered voices. Jake froze, the laughter in his heart replaced with dread. "Sometimes, I wonder if it's worth it," Emma's voice cracked, laced with pain. "I want him to be here with us, not just in a picture on the wall." The heavy silence that followed pierced Jake's heart like a dagger. He listened, frozen in place, as Sarah softly responded, "He thinks he is doing it for us, but he is never here to see us anymore." Each word was a raw reminder of the emotional void his relentless work had created in their family. Jake's eyes stung with tears he hadn't allowed himself to shed. He had thought securing wealth would safeguard his family's happiness, but it had only built a fortress around his heart, a prison of prosperity. Guilt washed over him like a tidal wave, knocking the breath from his lungs. Would they ever forgive him for prioritizing success over love? Feeling lost, he learned about a community charity event at the local high school. As his mind raced with thoughts of Emma and Sarah, the urge to run away overwhelmed him. But something deep inside pulled him toward the event. Driven by guilt and curiosity, he walked through the school doors. The hall was buzzing with warmth and laughter, an unfamiliar energy compared to the cold boardrooms he traversed. "Jake?" A voice turned him around. It was Michelle, a once bright classmate who had dimmed through life's trials. Her eyes sparkled with resilience as she shared her story of perseverance as a single mother and veteran. Each word struck a chord, forcing Jake to confront the contrasting bubble of privilege he had encased himself in. As Jake stood in the crowd, watching community members weave their stories of hope and struggle, he felt a stirring within. They didn't just need his money. They needed someone to stand with them, to advocate for change. Just as he considered stepping forward to share his resources, a knot formed in his stomach. Would his corporate peers view him as weak? Would they shun his newfound commitment to something greater than profits? The tension tightened around him. Jake felt the pulse of the crowd, sensing their hopes and doubts. Parents held their children's hands tightly, grounded in love. For a moment, he saw his own family in their faces, their connection reminding him of what truly mattered. He was at a crossroads, with Emily and Sarah waiting at home, unsure of whether their love would still welcome him back. As the night progressed, Jake's heart raced. He could feel the weight of the moment hovering above him. If he chose to embrace this new path, one of love, community, and connection, he risked everything he had built. Looking at the crowd, he inhaled deeply, ready to pull the microphone closer. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. He swallowed hard, his life hanging in the balance. Could he risk everything for love? The audience waiting with bated breath, and so was he, wondering how the next chapter in his life would unfold. Jake felt a jolt of uncertainty as he stepped closer to the microphone. The room hushed, all eyes on him. He could almost hear the echoes of his family's words in his mind. They needed him, yet he felt more distant than ever. What would he say? How could he possibly express everything swirling within him? Hi everyone," he stammered, instantly regretting his decision. "I'm Jake. I didn't plan to speak tonight, but I think I need to." The words came out haltingly, but honesty gripped him tighter as he went on. I've been living in this bubble, chasing success, and I lost sight of everything that matters. A murmur spread through the crowd, a mix of surprise and curiosity. Jake could feel the weight of their gazes, some nodding in understanding. His heart pounded. I prioritized work over family. I let my ambitions blind me to their needs. Hearing my daughter say, he paused, fighting the wave of emotion threatening to overwhelm him. Hearing her say she wanted me at home instead of just as an image on the wall, it broke me. He took a deep breath, searching for strength. I want to change. I want to be more than just a provider. I want to be present. To be the dad and husband they deserve. The warmth of the room suddenly felt electric, charged with an unspoken connection, as if everyone there understood his struggle, his longing for redemption. Together, we can make a difference here in our community, he continued, growing bolder. I want to advocate not just with my money, but with my time, my heart. Let us not just survive. Let us thrive together. A few people in the audience began to clap, hesitantly at first, and then a wave of applause erupted. Some cheered, others wiped away tears. Jake felt a rush of energy, a current of hope filling the air. A glimmer of understanding echoed in their eyes. This wasn't just about him. It was about all of them, connected in a shared need for love and belonging. When he finally stepped off the stage, he felt lighter, as if a weight he hadn't noticed was crushing him had been lifted. It wasn't a complete transformation, but it was a start. As Jake walked into the brightly lit hallway, Michelle approached him. You spoke from the heart. That takes real courage, she said. Her smile warmed. He nodded, gratitude swelling within him. It felt liberating. Change isn't easy, but it's necessary, she replied. Just remember, it's a process. You have support here. Jake smiled. Thank you. It means a lot. He glanced around at the people laughing and sharing stories. Each face told a story of resilience, of love, and of battles fought. He felt a pulse of connection that he hadn't sensed before. When he got home, the house was dark. His heart sank. Had his family gone to bed without him? He hesitated, unsure. But he shifted, feeling the need to confront his fears. He pushed the front door open, the quiet almost suffocating. Sarah? Emma? He called softly. There was only silence in response. Then, faintly, he heard muffled voices from the living room. As he stepped into the room, he found them huddled together on the couch, eyes wide with surprise. Dad? His daughter's expression melted him. I didn't think you'd be back so soon, Emma said. Jake knelt before them, feeling the weight of everything he had to say. I'm back, and I want to talk about us. Both of them exchanged glances, confusion written on their faces. He could sense the cautious hope lingering in the air. The road ahead was filled with uncertainty, but one thing was clear: he was ready to put in the work. But as he opened his mouth to speak, the doorbell rang, interrupting the moment. It was late. Who could be visiting now? They looked at each other, curiosity palpable in the air. The unexpected visitor could change everything, and Jake's heart raced with anticipation as he stood to answer the door. Jake's hand trembled slightly as he grasped the doorknob. The warmth of the living room faded as he stepped into the coolness of the hallway. He was filled with a mix of hope and anxiety, the chance to break through with his family, to be more present. But what if this unexpected visitor dashed those dreams? What if they were someone from his old life, wanting to draw him back into the hectic grind? He opened the door slowly, and the light from the porch spilled into the dim entryway. Standing there was a man he didn't recognize, slightly hunched, dressed in an oversized jacket and jeans worn at the knees. The stranger's face was illuminated, showing deep lines of worry and of vulnerability Jake noticed immediately. "Can I help you?" Jake asked, the heaviness of the moment settling between them. My name is Ben," the man stammered, taking a step forward. I was a friend of your brother S. Kyle." Jake's heart skipped a beat. Kyle had passed away 3 years ago, and yet here stood someone linked to the past he had buried deep beneath layers of ambition and regret. "What do you want?" he asked, the word sharper than intended. "Please, it's important," Ben said, his voice trembling. "I found something he wanted you to have." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small envelope, yellowed with age. Jake hesitated but felt his curiosity mount. He took the envelope, feeling its weight as he opened it. Inside, he discovered a letter, the handwriting unmistakable. Kyle's voice echoed in his mind, bittersweet memories surfacing unbidden. He began to read aloud, feeling the familiar cadence of his brother's words. "Dear Jake, if you're reading this, it means I'm no longer around. But I want you to know I always believed in you. I saw how hard you worked, how you provided for your family. But I wish you would see what I see. Life isn't just about success. It's about connection, love, being there for each other through thick and thin." Tears blurred Jake's vision. The implications of Kyle's letter struck a chord deep within him. "Why do you have this?" he managed to ask, his voice softer now. "I found it while sorting through some things after he died," Ben replied, sadness in his eyes. "He kept it for you. Said it was important. I never had the chance to give it to him, and I guess I put it off. But I knew I had to come here tonight." Jake looked up, emotions swirling. The honor of holding this piece of his brother alone was overwhelming. Yet, it was more than that. It felt like a lifeline, reconnecting him to love and clarity he'd pushed away. "What does this mean for you?" Ben added quietly, watching Jake's reaction with concern. I think Jake took a deep breath. "I think it means I have a choice to make. A choice to be the person Kyle believed I could be." His daughter stepped closer, drawn to the emotional tension in the air. "Dad, who is that?" Emma asked, taking in the scene. Jake realized that his family needed him to choose now, to bring them into his world of growth and change. With trembling hands, he folded the letter and tucked it into his pocket. "Let us sit down and talk," he said finally, turning to Ben, and then looking at Sarah and Emma. "We all need to share what's on our hearts." But just as hope filled the room, a loud crash sounded from the kitchen, snapping Jake's attention sharp. What now? His heart raced again, anticipation blooming. Were they truly on the brink of healing, or was a storm brewing just outside their grasp? He moved quickly toward the noise, ready to confront whatever came next, uncertain of what awaited them all as a family. The kitchen door swung open, and Jake found himself standing in the threshold, breath caught in his throat. A mess of fallen dishes lay scattered on the floor, ceramic pieces glinting in the light like broken dreams. Sarah knelt down, her eyes wide with shock as she tried to pick up the remnants of the dinner that had quickly gone awry. "Is everyone okay?" Jake's voice cracked with urgency. Emma stood back, her small hands gripping the kitchen counter. "We were just helping, and then the shelf fell," she explained, her voice rising in that familiar pitch of panic that tugged at Jake's heart. Ben moved to assist Sarah, lifting the larger pieces delicately. "We can clean this up together," he said, his voice low and calm, but Jake felt the shift in the atmosphere. The moment before had been filled with raw emotion, a chance for truth and connection. Now, a different kind of chaos was attempting to sweep away that hope. It dawned on him that this was a turning point, a test of his resolve to be a part of something real, something that could replace the superficiality he had built around his life. "Let me help," Jake insisted, pushing through the initial shock. He knelt beside his wife, heart pounding as he gathered fragments, his fingers brushing against the cool tiles. In that simple act of labor, he felt the weight of Kyle's letter pressing against his chest. Life wasn't just about standing at the top of the ladder or putting on a brave face when things got hard. It was about the messy, unexpected moments that brought people together, and tonight, that realization settled deep within him. "Dad, be careful," Emma explained as he reached for a particularly sharp shard. "I will, sweetie." "Just something I have to fix," he said, his smile returning. Even as he worked through the pain of loss, the kitchen became their stage, a dance of cooperation amidst the broken glass. Sarah leaned into Jake's shoulder, brushing her hair back, their connection rekindling in small gestures. Emma joined in, reaching for a broom, her face softening at the sight of her parents working together. As they cleaned, a sense of warmth began to cocoon the space. The shattered pieces gradually transformed into collective laughter and newfound lightness. "Remember last year when you dropped the cake on the floor?" Jake recalled, trading stories of their family's mishaps with a smile. "Don't remind me." Sarah laughed, the memories easing tension. Ben watched from the side, a small smile forming on his lips as he witnessed the family reconnecting. But just then, something caught Jake's eye in the corner of the room, a shimmering glint that hadn't been before. He turned to see a reflection, and his stomach dropped. Beneath a cabinet, one last piece of ceramic lay waiting, half hidden as if beckoning for attention. "Hang on," Jake said, moving closer. The moment he stooped to retrieve it, something extraordinary happened. It turned out to be more than just another broken plate. It was a portion of a family heirloom. His grandmother's favorite serving dish, the one he hadn't seen since childhood. The memories of family gatherings flooded back, overflowing with laughter, love, and connection. "Look at this!" Jake exclaimed, holding up the delicate piece with reverence. But as he looked at his family's faces, their joy palpable, a whirl of thoughts and fears surged up, mingling with memories of Kyle and all the moments he wished he could relive. Could this be the start of something that went beyond repairing dishes? Could they find ways to heal what had been broken within them too? Then the doorbell rang again, breaking into the moment like a thunderclap. Who could be at the door now? The weight of possibility sat heavy. Jake turned to Ben and his family, uncertain of what this new surprise would bring. Could it be another flashback from the past, or perhaps an opening into a brighter future? The doorbell rang a second time, ringing through the air like an alarm. Jake's heart raced, a mix of anticipation and dread swirling through him. He exchanged a glance with Sarah, her brow furrowed in confusion. Emma shifted restlessly, her little fingers twisting around the broom handle as if it were a lifeline. "Who could that be?" she whispered, eyes wide. "Maybe it's a neighbor?" Ben suggested, his tone light, trying to temper the tension. Yet Jake could feel the energy in the room shift again, uncertainty creeping back in as if the kitchen had grown dimmer. "Let us see," Jake said, forcing the words out, even as doubt gnawed at him. He stood up, placing the piece of ceramic gently on the counter, where the faint light gleamed off its surface, a beacon against the chaos. As he approached the door, each step felt heavy. He could hear a muffled voice from the other side, urgent, familiar. He hesitated, unsure if this door would lead to clarity or confusion. Taking a deep breath, Jake pulled the door open. Standing on the threshold was a figure he hadn't seen in years, a ghost from his past, yet as real as the air he breathed. It was Uncle Tom, his features lined with time, yet his charismatic grin lit up the night. "Jake, it's been too long," Tom exclaimed, stepping forward to envelop him in a bear hug. Jake stood frozen for a moment, the warmth of the embrace unexpected after all these years. "Uncle Tom?" he finally managed, pulling back to look at him. The initial thrill faded, replaced by an array of emotions. "What are you doing here?" "I came back early. Just got into town," Tom said, scanning the chaos behind Jake. "Looks like I interrupted something important, huh?" Jake hesitated, the memories of their family gatherings flashing in his mind, intertwined with the bittersweet feelings of the past. "It's everything as fine. We were just cleaning up." Cleaning and reconnecting, by the looks of it, Tom said, glancing at Sarah and Emma, who were now peeking around Jake's shoulders. The warmth he radiated ignited something buried deep within, stirring a sense of belonging amidst the lurking shadows of anxiety. "Why don't you come in?" Jake offered, still reeling from the unexpected visit. "This is unexpected." Tom nodded, stepping inside. There was a confidence to his demeanor, but Jake could sense an edge of something deeper. Was it regret? Maybe it was just the weight of the years they hadn't shared. Ben offered a nod of respect, inviting him to join their cleanup efforts. As Tom settled into the chaos, Jake couldn't shake the feeling that this was more than coincidental. His uncle had always been the family glue, the one who brought everyone together. But he was also a man of secrets, and Jake wondered what this visit would unravel. "Tell me, Jake," Tom started, brushing off some ceramic dust from his pants. "What has been going on with you? I've heard bits and pieces here and there." Jake sighed, the letter from Kyle resurfacing in his mind. He had so much to share, so much to confront. And perhaps Uncle Tom's return was a piece of that puzzle, a chance to address everything he had shoved aside. "Things have changed," Jake finally replied, meeting Tom's eyes with renewed determination. "But I think it's time to talk about it." Just then, another door creaked open in the back of his mind, a glimmer of hope shining through the shards of their past. Could this be the moment they all needed? As Jake took in his family, he felt a flicker of possibility, not just to heal their broken past, but to embrace whatever truth lay ahead. But would Uncle Tom's presence spell more than just a reunion? With shadows still dancing in the corners of the room, Jake could only wonder what truths might emerge next. The atmosphere in the kitchen buzzed with a mix of nostalgia and uncertainty as Uncle Tom set down the bag he carried, its contents clinking softly. Everyone was still processing the shock of his arrival, as if they stood at the edge of a swimming pool, hesitant to dive in. "Come on, sit down," Sarah said, her voice breaking the ice. She motioned toward the table, filling the silence with warmth. Emma scampered to grab chairs, obviously thrilled to have an adult presence. Regardless of the past. As they settled around the table, Jake's heart raced with a blend of curiosity and apprehension. He could still feel the unspooled thread of secrets being pulled tighter. Tom's smile didn't quite reach his eyes, and Jake wondered what lay hidden beneath that jovial facade. "I'd miss family dinners like this," Tom said, glancing at each of them, his gaze lingering on Emma. "You've grown so much, kiddo." The child beamed at the attention. "How long are you staying, Uncle Tom?" Emma asked, her innocence breathing life into the room. Jake glimpsed her eager anticipation and felt a pang of hope. "Just for a few days, but I want to make the most of it," Tom replied, his tone shifting, hinting at something unspoken. He leaned in closer. "I came back because I felt it was time. I've got some things I need to put right." "Put right?" Ben chimed in, skepticism lacing his words. "What do you mean?" Before Tom could respond, the remnants of a past conversation flowed back into Jake's mind, particularly the challenges his family had faced over the years. "Uncle Tom," he started, his voice steady but soft. "What about Mom and Dad?" "You left." I know, Tom interrupted, raising a hand. "And it was a mistake, Jake. One I regret every day. I owed them. I owed all of you so much more than I gave." "What brought you back?" Sarah asked, crossing her arms defensively, as if readying for a storm. Tom shifted uncomfortably. "Life, I guess. Time has a way of catching up. I spent years chasing my dreams, pushing people away. But the truth is, no matter what I achieved, it felt empty without family." Jake felt a wave of understanding wash over him. Maybe this was what he needed, a conversation long overdue. "So what is next?" he asked, leaning in. "You've got to have a plan. Are you going to talk to Mom?" "I hope to." "She deserves the truth," Tom answered, his voice barely above a whisper, but there was steel behind it. But I want to force it if she is not ready. The air grew heavier, thick with unlifted burdens. Uncle Tom's return was not just a homecoming, it was a reckoning. Jake knew that truth could cut like glass, but it might also be the salve they desperately needed. What if clearing the air could reshape their family, help them heal wounds they barely acknowledged? Emma, sensing the tension, looked from Jake to Tom and quietly asked, "Can we have ice cream after?" The simple innocence of her request broke the seriousness. Laughter bubbled up, mingling with the unease, and for a moment, it felt like they could be a real family again. But Jake knew the hard work ahead was unavoidable. As he glanced at Uncle Tom once more, Jake felt a familiar spark of resolve ignite within. They were at a crossroads. Every choice from here could lead them down paths they couldn't yet foresee. The fear of the past lingered, but there was also a current of possibility. Maybe, just maybe, this was the turning point, but at what cost? In that instant, Jake realized there was strength in vulnerability, and a part of him yearned to dive deeper into the truth. He turned to Tom, heart pounding, ready to confront the hidden truths, and the weight of it all felt suffocating. Little did he know, a revelation was waiting just beyond the surface, ready to change everything. Would they surface together, or would the shadows they carried keep pulling them under? Tom paused, scanning the faces around the table. His heart felt heavy, burdened by the weight of years gone by. As laughter and warmth filled the space, he couldn't shake off the feeling that maybe it was all an illusion, a temporary safety net covering deeper cracks. "Emma, how about we save the ice cream for later?" he suggested, trying to keep his voice light. "I'd love to hear what you've all been up to first." As Emma prattled on enthusiastically about her school projects, Jake's mind raced. "You're really planning to talk to Mom, huh?" he pressed, wanting to see deeper. It was almost as though Tom's promise hung in the air between them. "Yeah, I am," Tom admitted, his expression sobering. "But it's complicated. I don't even know if she wants to see me." His gaze dropped to the table, where the scars of old would whispered stories of family gatherings past. Jake felt a stir of anger. "You left us. Do you expect her to just welcome you back with open arms? After everything?" Tom flinched, hurt flashing across his face. "I don't expect forgiveness, Jake," he said, sounding softer this time. "I just want a chance to explain." "Explain?" Ben scoffed, shaking his head. "What do you think you can say that would make it any better? You think a few apologies will fix all those years?" "Maybe not," Tom replied quietly. "But I need her to know that I never stopped caring, even when I was gone." The honesty in his voice cut through the noise, drawing everyone's attention toward him. The room fell silent. Jake's heart thudded painfully in his chest. He could feel the tension shift, like a storm cloud gathering. "You think that's enough?" he asked, his tone edging on desperate. "You think she won to feel angry? Betrayed?" "Of course she'll feel angry," Tom said, his voice steady. "But she deserves the truth, no matter how hard it is to hear." His eyes were earnest, searching Jake's for understanding. Emma, still oblivious to the weight of their conversation, piped up again, "Maybe we can all talk together. That would be fun, right?" Her sweet suggestion hung in the balance, innocent, and yet striking a chord of painful longing in Jake's heart. "Fun?" Sarah echoed with a wry smile, the tension easing just slightly. "This isn't like planning a family picnic, honey." Yet Jake couldn't help but feel the flicker of possibility. Maybe Emma was onto something. Maybe if they faced it together, it could work. Tom's eyes softened as he looked at Emma. "You're right, kiddo. It could be something. I hope she is ready to listen. I don't want to push her." Plucking at the loose threads of his shirt, Jake wrestled with his thoughts. Maybe Uncle Tom was just a man trying to find his way back after losing his way. But could they all navigate these waters together? "Do you have any idea what you'd say?" Jake pressed, feeling the mix of hope and dread rolling like thunder inside him. I'll have to start with what I never said. The truth, my truth could break us, but it could also heal, Tom answered. But before Jake could respond, the door creaked open, and a sudden draft swept through the kitchen. The atmosphere shifted yet again. The coolness felt ominous. His heart raced. Who was it now? In that moment, Jake's gaze darted toward the door, his thoughts consumed by what or who could further complicate an already messy situation. What if the very revelation Tom needed to share was about to step right through that door? What if the secrets hidden in the past were more tangled than anyone had imagined? The door swung open wider, and the chill swept through, as if the atmosphere itself had inhaled sharply. In the doorway stood a figure Jake hadn't seen in years, his mother, Lindsay. The shock stilled the room, the laughter and chatter fading into an awkward silence, replaced by an unease thick enough to slice. She looked different now, her cheeks slightly hollow, and her hair pulled back into a tight bun that reflected her state of mind. Guarded. "Mom?" Emma's voice broke through the tension, innocent and unsure, as she stepped closer to their mother. The joy in her tone had vanished, replaced by a cautious curiosity. Lindsay's eyes swept across the table, landing on Tom. The recognition was immediate, but the warmth was absent. Instead, a flicker passed behind her eyes, a mix of anger, fear, and hurt that spoke volumes without her needing to say a single word. "Tom," she finally managed, her voice just above a whisper. The word hung in the air, heavy like an anvil. Tom shifted in his seat, his usual confidence faltering. "Lindsay," he replied, the air between them charged, electric. Jake felt the tension surge within him, caught between his uncle seeking redemption and his mother, a woman shaken by betrayal. He could see the fight in her eyes, the turmoil weaving its way through years of hurt. He wanted to reach out and comfort her, but the emotions were too raw, tangled like the mess they all found themselves in. "Why are you here?" Lindsay asked, her words sharper than she intended. She stepped further into the kitchen, crossing her arms, as if she needed armor against the past. Tom glanced at the table, staring at the remnants of the almost cheerful family gathering they had just been having. "I came to talk," he said, cautiously. "I don't want to hear your excuses," she interrupted, her voice trembling barely beneath the surface. "Not now, not ever." Jake could feel his heart racing, caught in the crossfire of emotions churning around the room. It felt like they were all teetering on a precipice, ready to fall into a chasm of unresolved tension and pain. He cut in, desperation edging his tone. "Mom, maybe this is a chance, Jake," she said sharply, cutting him off with a look that pinched his chest. "You don't understand. You have no idea what he put us through." "Maybe I do," he pushed back, the words flowing before he could swallow them. "Maybe I have more understanding than you think." Tom's eyes darted between them, worry evident on his face as the conversation spiraled. "I never meant to hurt you," he said to Lindsay, his voice strained. "I just want the chance to explain myself." Lindsay shook her head, tears pooling in her eyes, but refusing to spill. "Did you ever consider how it felt for us? What you left behind?" Each word felt heavy, a weight dragging down the air even more. As silence reigned, Jake saw the flicker of memory in their mother's eyes, an echo of the love they once shared, now shadowed by loss. Each tense heartbeat felt like a countdown to something crucial unraveling. Tom stepped forward, determined. "I know I'm messed up, but I can't change the past. All I can do is face it. I need you to understand." But before he could finish, a loud crash echoed from the living room, snapping everyone out of their charged moment. They turned as one, eyes wide with apprehension. "Mom? Emma?" a voice called out. They all knew that voice too well. It was Alex, their estranged father, the man who had promised he'd always be there. As footsteps rushed closer, the unspoken tension that had built up between Tom and Lindsay suddenly felt like a tightly wound spring, ready to snap. Would they be able to face all their truths together, or would the past, with its haunting shadows, take hold once more? Jake held his breath, his heart pounding as uncertainty loomed. What truth would Alex's presence unveil? And was it too late for all of them to take a step toward healing? Jake's heart raced as the footsteps grew louder. He could feel a storm brewing, an electric tension hanging in the air that promised to shatter whatever fragile peace they had momentarily shared. "Is that Emma's voice trembled, uncertainty spilling into the space between them. "Stay here," Jake whispered, the instinct to protect his sister kicking in. He wanted to shield her from whatever storm Alex might bring. As the door swung open, revealing their father as silhouette, it felt like the heavens split open. "Alex," Lindsay breathed, her voice barely above a whisper. Jake saw her shoulders sag, a mix of relief and ache flickering across her face. Alex stepped into the room, surveying the scene with a mixture of confusion and concern. "What is going on?" He frowned, his eyes darting between his estranged wife and the man who had walked back into their lives. Tom straightened, the weight of years hanging over him like a shroud. "We were just talking, Alex." There was no warmth in Tom's voice, just a cold reminder of whatever history lay beneath. "Talking?" Alex echoed, disbelief lacing his tone. "In this family, we used to share, not talk." There was a sharpness to his words, an accusation that thrummed in the still air. "Enough." Lindsay's voice cut through the tension, louder than it had been all night. "Alex, this isn't the moment. Please, not now." She turned her gaze on Tom, then back to Alex, the pain etched in her features revealing years of unresolved feelings. "What do you mean, not now?" Alex snapped back, frustration boiling over. "How could this be the wrong time? Is there ever a right time to end up in a room with the man who hurt our family?" Jake flinched at the accusation, his heart sinking at the possibility that the night would descend further into chaos. "Dad, it's just," he began, but Alex silenced him with a fierce look that made his stomach churn. "Just what?" "Just another family reunion where we pretend everything's fine." Alex's voice broke, revealing the cracks beneath his bravado. "Don't you dare act like you care now." Lindsay shot back, fire igniting in her eyes. "You weren't here. You left us." The words hung thick in the air, heavy and unyielding. In that moment, Jake could see the old wounds flare up, the scars of abandonment surfacing, ready to thrust them all into a deeper turmoil. Alex opened his mouth to respond, but no words came. Instead, he looked at Emma. "You okay, kiddo?" Emma's small shoulders slumped. "I don't know what is going on." Her voice drifted off, nearly a whisper. She clearly felt the weight of the conflict enveloping them. Lindsay stepped closer to her daughter, placing a gentle hand on her back. "I'm sorry, Emma. We're just trying to figure things out." "What is to figure out?" Alex interjected, frustration flaring again. "Clearly, Tom wants to pick up the pieces without a thought to the mess he left behind." "Stop it!" Jake shouted, the weight of the moment crashing down on him. He could no longer stand by and watch the storm unfold. "This is about family. All of us, even if we've been torn apart." The room fell silent, each person stilling, issues bubbling beneath the surface. At that moment, Jake felt a flicker of hope. Perhaps this was a chance for them to confront their pain together, to untangle years of hurt. "Maybe we can talk," he suggested, his voice softer now, like a family. Tom looked at Jake, seemingly searching for something in his eyes. "I want to explain," he said again, the pleading in his voice now aimed at Jake, but before anyone could respond, a loud buzz interrupted them. The sound pierced through the thick atmosphere, drawing all eyes toward Tom's phone, which had suddenly lit up on the table, an incoming call from someone neither of them expected. "Who is it?" Lindsay asked, already bracing for a new wave of confrontation that could push the night over the edge. Tom glanced down, his face draining of color. It's important. I have to. What now?" Alex snapped, his patience dwindling. Jake felt the tension shift once again, the air charged with anticipation. Each glance between them felt like a countdown to another revelation. What new truth would come to light, and would they be able to endure another twist in this already tumultuous family saga? As Tom's finger hovered over the phone screen, Jake's heart hammered in his chest. Would this call bring clarity or chaos, and would they ever really find a path toward healing? Tom hesitated, the phone vibrating in his hand, as if echoing the tumult of emotion surging in the room. He could feel the weight of all eyes on him, his brother's family, the family he had left behind. It took him a moment to gather his scattered thoughts. I need to take it," he finally decided, his voice firm, echoing determination amidst the chaos. He stepped back, allowing the phone call to pull him away from this emotional storm, a tether to the outside world that suddenly seemed far less important than the one unfolding inside. "Wait," Lindsay called after him, a mixture of desperation and concern seeping through her words. But he knew he had to answer this, had to confront whatever awaited him on the other side, just like he needed to confront the people in the room. "I'll be right back. I promise." As he stepped into the hallway, the tension remained behind, palpable, ready to burst. In the moment of his absence, Jake turned to his mother, feeling an urge to break the suffocating silence that now filled the space. "Mom," he began, searching for the right words that were so painfully close yet still out of reach. "I know it's hard. I can't imagine what hurt you felt, but maybe this is a chance to heal together." The room felt heavy with the past, but he longed for them to start weaving something new. "Together?" Alex scoffed, crossing his arms defensively. "You talk as if it's that easy. What about the years of lies? Years of absence?" Lindsay shot back, her eyes flaring in anger, but deeper beneath it all, there was fear. Jake felt it all too clearly. While the confrontation of truths could shatter walls, it could also open Pandora's box. "Dad, it's not just black and white," Jake urged. "We needed you to be present. We need everyone who is here right now." Emma shuffled from foot to foot, her small figure reflecting the confusion swirling around them. That innocence called for peace, a desire for warmth in an unpredictable storm. "Really?" Alex challenged, a mix of fear and anger shifting in his posture. "You think it matters? You think acknowledging the past will change anything?" It was the weight of the word change that amplified Jake's resolve. Yes, it can change everything. But it means facing it, facing each other. "Then let us face it," Alex challenged, his voice rising slightly, electrifying the room. A battle of truths loomed as Jake measured the gravity of what they faced and the urgency to reach deeper. "Let us put it all out there. What have you gained by hiding from it?" "Family," Jake yelled back, a plead wrapped in frustration. "Look around. This family matters." Just as Alex opened his mouth to respond, Tom re-entered the kitchen, his expression now a whirlwind of emotions. "I need you all to listen," he said, his voice steady but tempered with the urgency of what he had heard. "What is it?" Lindsay asked, her expression a mix of curiosity and trepidation. Jake felt the room stilling, anticipation hanging heavy in the air. "It's about Dad," Tom said, looking each of them in the eye. "I just got off the phone with him." "What?" Jake exclaimed, his heart racing. "You spoke to him?" "Yes. He has something important to share with all of you, but he isn't ready to face his own truths, and I think he needs us all to encourage him." "Encourage?" Alex scoffed, but the bitterness in his tone dwindled as confusion washed over him. "Encourage it or not," Tom pushed back, "we can't keep hiding from the truth, especially not from ourselves. We're all tangled in this mess. We've got to be ready to be honest about everything that happened before any healing can even begin. Lindsay took a step closer to Tom, her face a canvas of emotions, pain, hope, the memories flashing behind her eyes. "Can he come here?" she asked softly, her voice almost breaking. "Yes." He said he could come anytime, but Tom hesitated, glancing unsurely. "He needs the right moment. He told me he is still wrestling with his choices and regrets." In that moment, Jake felt the shift, a reckoning price of wallowing in the past for far too long. Maybe this could flip the narrative. Together they could pull out a lesson, just as fragile and ragged as any heirloom, but also shining with the possibility of acceptance. "Let us face him," Jake urged, his voice filled with newfound determination. "We're all here, tangled and broken, but we also connect. We can do this as a family." Emma, watching the storm unfurl, looked up at her parents, hope shining through her wide eyes. "Can we really all talk?" "Yes, we can have ice cream first, but yes," Lindsay said, a small smile breaking through, though it was weighted with uncertainty. "If we really want to put the pieces back together, we can at least try." The statement echoed between them, reverberating as if the air had shifted, something new had begun. Jake glanced at Tom, whose strong presence reminded him what it meant to own your story, like Kyle's letter. Sometimes the truth was the bravest thing to uphold. In that haze of hesitation, hope permeated the air. The past wouldn't be easy to traverse, but standing together could forge a new path, one built on broken but resilient bonds. "All right then," Jake said, though doubt lingered on the edge. "One step at a time. And perhaps, just perhaps, this night, the beginning of confronting their truths, could be the start of shaping something beautiful from all the fragments they had endured." "Let us remember what family means," he added, the words forging a bridge against the uncertain waters ahead. As they moved toward the next chapter, they breathed in the air heavy with possibility, clinging to the fragile light that guided them forward. Maybe they would find healing together, reclaiming everything life had once taken away. The door was open, for once welcoming the truth, and as they leaned in, the weight began to lift, showing the simple beauty of being united through the shadows, buoyed by love. And yet, as they took those tentative steps forward, Jake made a silent wish that they would all show up for each other, for the difficult conversations ahead. It began with this moment, standing together as they embraced the uncertainty of family, the good, the bad, and the hopeful light that might just shine through. Now, take this moment and share it with your friends. Do not let this journey be yours alone. Subscribe immediately so you don't miss the next exclusive stories, feeling each transformation with the family vibe that's so real. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, shout out your support. Comment below your own family stories or feelings about the ending, because your voice matters. Share instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to take action. Let's continue this journey together. Don't wait not even one more second.